Monday Night Football, biggest game of the year so far. 8-3 Broncos versus the 8-3 Chiefs for first place in the AFC West. It does not get much better than this. One of our biggest regular season games we've had in this entire series up to this point. So I think at the end of the last episode, I said that today was going to be a prospect profile. I have been working on the draft class. However, I'm pushing it back one more episode. I promise it will be next time around where we go over the skill position players in this year's draft. Our focus today is on this matchup against the Kansas City Chiefs for first place and maybe even the number one seed in a very competitive AFC West where the top three teams are separated by only a game. That includes the Las Vegas Raiders, and we were in a similar matchup last week going up against the Raiders, and we ended up really taking care of business. I was expecting a close game. It was anything but. We won 31-7. Our defense got embarrassed in Las Vegas earlier this season. Jalen Daniels threw for 500 yards and 6 touchdowns. So what do they do here? The starting defense allowed 0 points, and then the backups allowed a 1-yard touchdown drive at the end. Jalen Daniels had his worst game of the year. He's only had one other game this year where his passer rating was below 100, and it was still in the 80s. Bo Nix was solid. The run game was good. First full game without Ashton Jeanty, and I thought Trevion Henderson did pretty well as the starter. He barely played, though, in the second half. He only had, I think, 1 carry after the break. Harrison Whaley came in and did a pretty good job the rest of the way. It's been good having Marvin Mims back. He hasn't put up the big numbers that we're accustomed to, especially in the yards department, but he has opened things up for the passing game. And then obviously the defense was just unbelievable. Aleem the Dream, 2 sacks, Drew Sanders with 2 picks. And I think these 2 games against the Raiders is the perfect encapsulation of what our defense has been this year. We're going to have a lot of really good games and then some just completely pathetic performances. We had one dominant showing against the Raiders on that side of the ball and one hideous performance. It was probably the biggest NFL game of Jalen Daniels' career, though. He has not played in that big of a game since the national championship during his senior season at Kansas. The quarterback we're going to play against today has played in a lot more big games. Multi-time Super Bowl winner, Patrick Mahomes. So the Chiefs are currently 8-3, obviously tied with us in the division. We have not played against them yet. We haven't played against them since all the way back in Week 7 of last year with a game-winning touchdown by Christian Horn to win it for the Broncos. They've had a couple of shaky losses. They got blown out by the Raiders. They lost to the Chargers, who are not particularly good, but they're playing their best football over the last few weeks, scoring at least 28 points over their last 4, including beating some good teams like Baltimore, Detroit. We know they're tough. Cincinnati as well. It's year 11 for Pat Mahomes, and he is still getting it done. Last year might have been his best season yet. This year, he hasn't quite put up the jaw-dropping touchdown numbers as his 2026 MVP campaign, but he has still been ridiculously good, and a large part to that is this skill position room. They ended up re-signing Isaiah Pacheco to a big extension, but they're deep behind him with Barnes and Ott. And then look at the receiving core with Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy, and then some youth behind them. Jurion Dickey in the second round has been a grand slam of a selection so far. And that's not to forget other youngsters, including Zachariah Branch, Traylon Roy, Terrence Ferguson at tight end, who's already a 90. And then on the defensive side of the ball, they've drafted and developed ridiculously well, particularly on the defensive line, building around Chris Jones with guys like Zane Durant, Stephen Daly, LT Overton, and Donovan Ezeraku, the latter of whom is injured for this game. He will not play. And then in the secondary, building around Trent McDuffie with guys like Denzel Burke in the first round a few years ago. The rookie Dalton Brooks as superstar. Zion Branch, the twin brother of Zachariah Branch. The twins drafted 1 round apart in this year's draft. So there's a lot at stake. First place in the division and possibly the number 1 seed. The Chiefs would get the number 1 seed with a win here because they do it the head-to-head tiebreaker over the Ravens. We still get to play Baltimore later in the year, which should be quite interesting. So let's get this show on the road. Monday Night Football, 8-3 Broncos, 8-3 Chiefs for first place in the division. And with the Ravens losing on Sunday, either one of these teams would be the number 1 seed with a win. So there is a lot at stake in this matchup. Let's see if the Broncos are able to bring their A game again, coming off a great performance against the Raiders. But again, that was the biggest NFL game of Jalen Daniels' career. Patrick Mahomes has played in maybe 100 bigger games than that, or at least that's what it feels like. He's been there. He's done that. He's the most accomplished quarterback in the NFL currently and one of the all-time best to ever lace him up. From the 45-yard line, Mahomes calls for a switch at the line, looks to throw it, goes right side where he finds Rashee Rice, looking to lead the drive. Normally when Rashee Rice does that, it's not a good thing, but that play he was going a lot less than 130 miles an hour. Here's Terrence Ferguson inside the red zone, inside the 10 to the 9. A gain of 18 to the third-year tight end out of Oregon, the heir apparent to Travis Kelce, who has developed really well for them. 3rd and goal from the 5. Mahomes under pressure. He is sacked. Off the blitz, it's Jeffrey Bossa, joined by Michael Williams as well, and that'll bring out the field goal unit. It's my favorite women's rights enthusiast, Harrison Butker from 29. His kick is good, but there is a flag. Don't tell me Benjamin Morrison hit the kicker. Bro, that is not ideal. Ben Morrison not cooking in the kitchen there, unlike Harrison Butker's wife. Benjamin Morrison rarely makes mistakes. I can't think of many, if any at all, in his 2.5 seasons here. But that one is going to cost us 4 points as the rookie Jurion Dickey into the end zone for a touchdown. What a selection he's been. Battle-tested, highly productive receiver out of the University of Oregon. Remember, he had 10 catches in the national championship when he was a junior, and he has been a stud for the Chiefs, joining forces with Worthy and Rice as we take a look at Bo Nix, who's had a very impressive year, currently in 2nd place for the MVP. It still doesn't feel real that he's in the same conversation of guys like Allen, Burrow, Jalen Daniels, Mahomes, as he fumbles it on the first play! And it's quickly scooped up by Andrew Thomas. That could have been bad news. Stephen Daly, the former first-rounder, brings him down. 2nd and 25. We're just going to run the ball, and we're going to move back again. Holding call on Quinn Miners. Not an ideal start to the drive or the game at all. We allow the defensive touchdown. The offense is moving backwards. I mean, this is a disaster through 5 minutes. 2nd and 34 at the 9. Nix floats it up. Downfield into the bucket. Marvin Mims hauls it in for a gain of 44. What a throw by Bo Nix. He would not have made that play a season ago. Marvin Mims really did not have that much separation on Denzel Burke, but he was open just enough to where Bo Nix can float it into the breadbasket for one of his most impressive passes of the year. It's good having Marvin Mims back, of course, stretching the field vertically as well. Nice first down run. Travion Henderson on the delayed handoff. The Chiefs didn't really see it coming, but Denver's able to make the play. 3rd and 10 now at the 34. Nix looks to throw it. Under pressure, steps up in the pocket, scrambles, juke move, and he nearly gets the first down. A big tackle there by Shamari Connor. That'll make it a 4th and inches, and you best believe what Denver's going to do on this play. Bringing the offense out on the field, they're going to go for it. QB sneak, and Nix gets it, pushing down his offensive linemen like bowling pins. Instead of the tush push, it's the offensive line push. Looks like it's an RPO. Chris Brazzell gets around 6. On the play, it looks like there's an injury. Someone going to the locker room for the Broncos. You have got to be kidding me. Really? After missing 7 games earlier this year, Marvin Mims is hurt again. 2nd and 4, a little Brazzle dazzle from Chris Brazzell, the 2nd to the 7-yard line. For Marvin Mims, it's an upper arm fracture. I don't think that's going to keep him out for too long, but probably multiple games. I mean, the guy's getting injured left and right. This is starting to become a problem, as good of a player as he is. Either he's the most unluckiest guy on the planet, or his bones are made of glass and ramen noodles. Or maybe it's a combination of the two. 1st and goal, play action. Nix goes short to the offensive lineman, DJ Glaze, who gets 4. That wasn't even the intended target. We were trying to send it to Travion Henderson, but the big fella hauls it in. 3rd and goal, maybe the final play of the quarter. It's a fullback dive. Rivaldo Fairweather is in for a touchdown, and the Broncos tie it up. You guys were clamoring for me to use the fullback position. We're doing it, and it's working. You guys know ball. Tied at 7 through the end of the first quarter off the late touchdown by Rivaldo Fairweather. Both offenses taking their time to start this game. Only one drive apiece. It's been slow and methodical, but both teams are moving it well. Denver, of course, on that drive had the ball as far back as their own 9-yard line. The Chiefs, meanwhile, they didn't throw the ball once on their opening drive. Mahomes went 8 for 10. They didn't run it at all. As Mahomes goes deep, it's Ferguson to the 30. He has had Marvin Grant looking foolish a couple times in this game, as it's a gain of nearly 40. Play action. Mahomes going deep. It's caught again. Jurion Dickey wrapped up at the 5. I don't know what Colin Wright was doing as the ball got there. They still have not run the ball once. They're throwing it every play. They're not fooling us with these play actions because we know they're not going to run the ball. They're playing exclusively through Mahomes, and to their credit, it's working. 2nd and goal. Mahomes wide open in the end zone. It's Rashee Rice for the touchdown, and the Chiefs quickly regain the lead. I mean, there's no reason for them to run the ball if they're just going to throw it this well. Complete opposite of what we got last week defensively. There's just no consistency on that side of the ball. Henderson weaving through defenders. He brings it to the 38-yard line. Trevion Henderson continues to be impressive even with the injury to Ashton Genty. And we, of course, feel more than fine with guys like Harrison Whaley and Zamir White backing him up. Bo calls for an audible on 3rd and 3. He's been very efficient so far, 8 of 9 as he rolls left. Under pressure, and he cannot get rid of it. Shamari Connor and Mo Kamara bring him down for the sack, and that'll lead to our first punt of the game. It hasn't been that high scoring of the game, but it has been an offensive battle, given that both offenses have looked good. So a big stop there from the Chiefs, and now Denver's really got to make a play here. Up the middle, Marquise Brown to the 46. I mean, are these guys ever going to run the ball? I get that they don't need to because they've been fine without doing it. It's got to happen at some point. Finally, Isaiah Pacheco throws Bossa to the ground. One of the NFL's best tacklers just got lit up by Isaiah Pacheco. Chiefs moving it really well again. It's a 2nd and 10 from the 39. They'll go back to Pacheco, and he's going backwards on 2nd and 10. It's Jack Sawyer, the trade deadline acquisition. He's been quiet so far, but he gets the TFL, and that'll make it a 3rd and 11. The defense has got to get off the field, got to have a drive without the Chiefs scoring. I don't get how the defense can play so well one week and then look like this the very next. Mahomes under pressure, throws it away. A creative blitz dialed up by Denver, and the Chiefs are going to have to bring out the field goal unit. It's a 56-yarder. Morrison better watch his footing here, as Butker's kick is wide left. Maybe the only wide left thing about Harrison Butker. So it remains 14-7. We finally hold them off the board. Let's see what the offense can do here from the 46. Nearing the 2-minute warning here in the first half. It's Harrison Whaley. Finds space to the right side. Tries to get to the second level. He's wrapped up by Burke. But an impressive run by Harrison Whaley. Past the 2-minute warning. 2nd and 10 from the 42 now. Nix will look to throw it. Under pressure from Daly, and that one is somehow caught. Burke draped over Tez Johnson, who still hauls it in. Look at the clock. Under 20 seconds, 3rd and 2. Henderson powering forward like a bowling ball. He's close. Denver calls a timeout at the 2. The Broncos looking to tie it up with 13 seconds left. That's DJ Glaze in motion. Nix looks to throw it under pressure. He's picked off! For the first time since week 3, Bo Nix has thrown an interception. It's the 3rd-round rookie out of Texas Tech, Dalton Brooks, who picks him off, and the Chiefs will hold on to their lead. That was a one-read play for Bo Nix. Brazel was the only guy he was considering throwing the ball to. Should have just got rid of it with how well the rookie Brooks had him covered. Bo Nix has done such a good job of taking care of the ball. Again, his first interception since week 3. Here's a look at your scores across the rest of the NFL. I hinted at it earlier, but the Ravens lost to the Chargers. So again, the winner of this game taking the number 1 seed. The loser of this one tied for 2nd. The Raiders bouncing back. Jalen Daniels and the offense right back to business. They put up 35 in Lambeau. We'll be getting to see the Packers next week. 49-10. My God, Washington got clobbered. Not the only blowout this week. 28-3, the Lions beat up on the Vikings. 41-10, the Buccaneers over the Panthers. Sawyer Robertson continues to be one of the best stories of the NFL this year, a day 3 draft pick in the mix for the MVP and maybe the best quarterback in the NFC. The Jets looking to stay afloat. Jalen Milroe has been out since the preseason. He might be back in time for our matchup, though, in a couple of weeks when we play against the Jets. But if not, it'll be Drew Aller, second rounder a couple years ago by the Cardinals. They let him go after just 1 year after drafting Dante Moore. And he's been the starter all year for the Jets. The game plan for us is simple. They are not running the ball, so we're not going to try to defend the run. And since we're trailing, we've got to focus on throwing the ball. We started the game off well, but have slowed down the passing attack. There's a nice play, though, for Harold Fannin, pulling it into the 28. Bo Nix was 8 of 9 to start. Going into the third quarter, though, he only completed 4 of his last 8. Good to see him looking better here as the RPO to Ryan Williams ends up in the end zone for a touchdown. And the Denver Broncos tie it up. An impressive start to the third quarter. Again, slow and methodical, but that's been the strategy today, and it continues to work. We'll see if the Chiefs can respond. Only 4 run plays for the Chiefs, but they haven't needed to run the ball. Mahomes is 15 of 19, 174, and a pair of tubs. We'll see if Kansas City can regain the lead. This is a big drive here for our defense early in the third. Pacheco with a nice run. He gets the first down. Just because the Chiefs aren't running the ball doesn't mean they can't, as they get it near the 45. 2nd and 10 now. Pacheco in motion. Play action under pressure. That one is hauled in. Rashee Rice quickly wrapped up by Surtain and Revel. A lot of pressure there. The defensive line did a good job getting off their blocks, but it didn't matter. Mahomes is Mahomes. He'll make that play. Another very efficient drive here from Kansas City is on 2nd down. Mahomes goes deep to the 10. It's the rookie out of USC, Zachariah Branch. Big play threat, blazing speed, shows it off there. 3rd and goal. Mahomes goes short for Pacheco, and he only gets around 2. Good pressure, good coverage. We hold them in the red zone. Not our best defensive drive, and I still don't like the play that we've gotten from the defense today, but holding them to 3 there is a big deal. It keeps the game within 3 as Harrison Butker makes the field goal. And so it's now 17-14. We'll see if Denver can respond from the 31 under pressure. It's a blitz, and Stephen Daly is there to finish him off. Had some help early as well. What a story for Daly. Started his career at Kent State, transferred up to NC State where he played really well, ended up as a first rounder by the Chiefs where he's been a stud. 3rd and 14. Nix connects. It is Christian Horn who hauls it in. Horn getting some nice reps here as Chris Brazzell got banged up earlier in the third quarter. Obviously, Mims' injury as well. 3rd and 5 on the run. That is Tez Johnson to the 29-yard line. Everybody's getting involved here for Denver. The Chiefs still get bad flashbacks from Horn with the game-winning touchdown last year. As that'll wrap up the third quarter. Another slow-paced quarter. That's been sort of the story of the game. Both offenses are taking their sweet old time. Not a ton of big plays. I mean, we had the long pass early to Mims. But otherwise, we haven't really gotten the explosives. We'll see if the Broncos can tie or take the lead here on this possession to start the fourth. Opening the quarter at the 29 with a first down. Fullback in the game. Henderson gets a nice lead block from Fairweather, and he gets 18 yards. Another productive game from Trevion Henderson. 8 carries, 52 yards, as the Broncos have it back in the red zone, where they were intercepted, of course, back in the second quarter. Pitch to the outside. Henderson is close, but no cigar. Might have actually lost a yard. Shamari Connor leads the way. He's been all over the field for the Chiefs, and Henderson's a little bit banged up. Will not go to the locker room, but is consoled by his former Buckeye teammate Jack Sawyer. 4th and goal at the 2. You know what we're doing. Zamir White in for a touchdown, and the Broncos take their first lead of the night. When you're that close, you got to punch that sucker in. We've got the big boys up front to create the space, and Zamir White does the rest. Loss of 1 for Pacheco. He's wrapped up by Aleem McNeil. What a pickup he continues to be. $99 million well spent. As it's 3rd and 10. The Chiefs switching everybody around here. Big play for Kansas City. They've only scored 3 points on their last 2 drives as Drew Sanders flies into the backfield for the sack. Sanders has been awesome over the last few weeks. He's honestly been better this year than Jeffrey Bassa. Denver has it back with the lead. 3rd and 4. It's Horn with the first down. He takes a shot from Leo Chanel, who's also been all over the field today for Kansas City. Good job there by Horn to hold on to the ball. 3rd and 3. Denver chewing clock. Up the middle. It's Harold Fannin. Jukes away from the defender to the 29. It's a gain of 15 yards. And the Broncos keep the drive going in full chew clock mode. And this should be easy for us with how slow our drives have been throughout the game. It is a pass here on 3rd and 13. Going short. Tez Johnson has the first to the 11. We had everybody going on vertical routes, but I wanted to have Tez Johnson run a short route. If nobody's open deep, I trust Tez Johnson to get open 5 yards away from the line of scrimmage. That's exactly what he does. 3rd and 3 from the 4. Nix, Henderson, he's close. 4th and 1, nice tackle by Leo Chanel. When you're that close, you know the drill. 2-minute warning. Denver has time to think about their decision. If we kick the field goal, we're pretty much guaranteed to be up by 7, but the Chiefs will have an opportunity to tie it. I don't want to give them that chance. 4th and goal. Play action. Nix gets rid of it quickly, and it's caught. Rivaldo Fairweather with the touchdown, and the Broncos add to the lead. They were not expecting the pass. Fairweather was all alone. Good job by Bo to get rid of it quickly. There was 3 guys coming right in his face. Whoa, pause. Not like that. But there was 3 guys quickly in the backfield. He had to get rid of it ASAP. Mahomes loses 4 on first down. I don't know why they're running read options down 11. But okay, you do you. Baron Browning brings him down. 3rd and 14. Here's Mahomes looking deep, and it's broken up. Colin Wright with the deflection. Hollywood Brown had a step or two, though, but Mahomes underthrew it. 4th and 14. This could be for the game. Mahomes looking deep again, and it's picked. Patrick Surtain, his 6th of the year, on the return, dives forward at the 38. That should just about do it, though. The Broncos only allowed 3 points in the second half. Granted, the Chiefs only had 3 or 4 drives. Very slow-paced game the entire way, but we've still managed to score 28. And that's with the turnover in the red zone at the end of the first half. Henderson up the middle, gets the first. He's going to dive to the ground, and that should do it. Biggest game of the year. Mahomes comes to town on prime time. But we told the Chiefs that the AFC West, at least for right now, runs through Denver. A loud statement made by the Broncos over these last 2 weeks. Even with a bad stretch before the bye week, we clobber the Raiders. We take care of business on primetime against Mahomes and the Chiefs, putting us in first place of the division, gives us the number 1 seed in the AFC with 6 weeks to go. A loud statement to the NFL universe that Denver's for real. We're not trying to make the playoffs and win a game or so like we have over the last couple of years, but we think once this team gets healthy, they're good enough to make a run, even with Mahomes, Lamar, Allen, and Burrow in the AFC. I think the biggest difference between this game was the time of possession. We had the ball for 26 minutes. I mean, we dominated the clock in this game. We ran the ball efficiently. Bo Nix was great in the short passing game, completing 81% of his passes, 30 for 37, 290, 2 scores and a pick. The interception was a really bad play. That was brutal. But otherwise, he was fantastic, outplaying Mahomes, especially in the second half. Henderson did his thing on the ground. Everybody got the wealth through the air. That's been the key for the offense. There hasn't been an established number 1 with Marvin Mims out. Everybody's getting the ball. The offensive line's been outstanding lately. These guys deserve their flowers. Andrew Thomas, what a turnaround. He's been one of the best left tackles in the league over the last 6-7 games. I didn't even mean to make the 6-7 joke that time. I think I've been brain rotted, chat. It's over. Defensively, even though we allowed 17 points against Mahomes, which is normally a good thing, I don't think we played all that well on defense. In the second half, though, we definitely buckled down, only allowing 3 points. And we were great in the fourth quarter at the end of the game. We deserve a lot of credit for that. But overall, definitely not our best defensive performance from start to finish. But again, when you only allow 17 against Mahomes, it's hard to complain. Of course, we did get a new injury, Marvin Mims, upper arm fracture. He'll be out for around 3 weeks, which is roughly what I would have expected when he got hurt originally. Will he actually be out for 3 weeks, or will it be more like 5? I don't know. We'll see. But he's scheduled to return, ironically, for our next game against the Chiefs. So he'll miss a couple big ones, including our matchup against Baltimore. And if we do end up winning the AFC West, there's a good chance that game decides the number 1 seed. Obviously, we've still got to win the division first. We play the Chiefs again, and the Raiders, who we don't have the tiebreaker with, we split. They're only 1 back. We already saw the scores, but here's another look. Players of the week, Dak Prescott, Tua Tagovailoa, hanging on to that starting job by the hairs on his chinny chin chin. What a game for Jelani McDonald, the youngster out of Texas. 2 interceptions, 2 fumble forces, and then Patrick Queen had 2 picks for the Steelers. Bo Nix was second in the MVP race going into the week. He dropped to 3rd, interestingly enough. I get that his numbers weren't all that great, other than the interception, which again was a really bad play. He had a very good game, though, against the Kansas City Chiefs. Efficient, made the right read consistently. One of his stronger performances of the year, in my opinion. And that says something, because he's had a lot of those. So next time around, we've got the Packers in Lambeau, and I can definitively say the next episode will be a prospect profile. You know what? If not, you guys can make me do some kind of punishment. It's not allowed to be involving the Packers, though. Do not get any good ideas. Hope everyone enjoyed, though. Make sure to leave a like. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you are new. Broncos country, let's ride.